Welcome to Relentless Believer Podcast, where believers come and share their stories of resilience and getting through the hard times. Today, we have Jessica with us.
Hi.
Jessica, I'm so honored to have you on today. For those who may not know you yet, can you tell us a little about who you are and what you're passionate about?
Well, of course. My name is Jessica Grayson. I am by profession currently a genetics-based fitness and nutrition coach. My previous profession was in victim services. That'll come into play a little later. I'm the youngest of five. I grew up in a children's home. I am a lover of Jesus Christ. I'm the daughter of a king. I live my life that way, and hopefully that's how others see me. There's so much more I could say, but that's a good start.
All right.
hmm
So, we've talked a lot behind the scenes about your story, and we picked out a few things to talk about today that might help others. You mentioned resilience is a big part of your story.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to a moment in your life where you felt like everything was in it?
Yes. So I was in a about 14-year marriage, and the moment I knew that one was over was when my ex-husband uh left me at the hospital by myself to find out that we had miscarried. And without so much detail, I had to do that myself. I had to listen to the doctor tell me. I had to go through the whole, oh my gosh, can't hear the baby's heartbeat, can't, all of this. And I knew my life was going to change in that moment. And especially when I got home, where, his parents and his sister and his family were consoling him as if he was the only person that lost a baby.
Oh, that's horrible.
Mm. Yeah, that was the catalyst to me just realizing that this has got to stop. This marriage has got to end. This life, I need to change.
Yeah, that would definitely be a waking point or a
Yeah.
breaking point anyway.
Yeah.
So you've walked through the trauma of domestic violence.
Yeah.
What was the turning point that gave you the courage to leave or begin the healing process?
Oh gosh. Domestic violence is different. People operate with it differently. Um, some people don't ever accept it. They might accept that this is the way that their life is supposed to be. Um, I can recall even knowing my mom's story, that she had some of that and she just stayed, or, she was kind of stuck in that. During my marriage, again, my whole career was victim services, meaning I helped women in domestic violence situations, um, things like that, get out of those. I knew what to do for other women. Nobody really knew what I was going through behind closed doors of my own home because I just didn't talk about it. I wasn't able to talk about any of that. So through the years, my ex would escalate. First, it was verbal abuse. Then it might be like some kind of psychological, financial abuse. Then it would be isolation. Isolation to where me, I'm a people person. I love people, want to be around people, to where I never wanted to leave the home. Um, Things of that nature that escalated to his decisions to kind of psychologically um, hold me back through suicide attempts. So he knew that I was this empathic person that, hey, if you hurt me, this is going to happen to you, that kind of stuff. And he would take that and use it against me because he knew of the heart that I had. And so the last straw for me was when I first started the career that I ended up, career path that I ended up resigning from. And he would suicide attempt over the phone. And I would be, at this point, I was thousands of miles or hundreds of miles away with my mentor. And he would get on the phone, do it, the attempt, and then hang up and cause me to just panic the entire week that I was on. So I while I was away, bought a new apartment, signed a new lease, and moved the next day that I landed on a Friday, moved out the next day.
Mm-hmm. Good story.
Yeah.
Whew. Um, so what are some of the emotional and mental hurdles that you had to overcome during that season?
You know, uh, I'm a very private person. I never want to feel like I'm burdening on people. And I think that stems from my childhood. When I grew up in a children's home, there were maybe 20 other kids at the house, besides my siblings and I at any given time. So the parental figures there did not have like the bandwidth to take care of everybody's emotions, which you don't expect that. But it did teach me that I'm the one that has to take care of my feelings and my emotions. A lot of that I would just observe and kind of tuck away. I carried that on through my adulthood. And when I was transferred to Hawaii, that's probably the breaking point that I had as far as getting through emotions was the complete set apart. I don't even say it was isolation, although it is isolating out there being by yourself, where I was allowed to go through every single emotion, every yelling at God, why is this my life? I'm supposed to be somewhere else besides this emotionally. And you go through this long period of being lost. The wilderness is alive and well when you go through a breakup of that nature. You grow up with someone thinking that you're going to be with them for the rest of your life, all to find out that it almost was a lie that you kind of helped create. So, yeah, there's a lot in that answer. But there's a lot of emotions that go with killing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's a daily struggle.
Daily.
Uh, so how did that experience impact your sense of identity and what helped you begin to reclaim it? So there you were alone in Hawaii.
Mhm. I remember going up. So I lived on the west side of Oahu, and that's where really like the locals lived. And so there's not all those places where people think of like Diamond Head, touring. Diamond Head is a crater that you can kind of climb, or Cocoa Head, which is the railroad tracks kind of thing. Like all these landmarks. I lived where the locals were, which was kind of a flatter part, but they did have these kind of one-off mountains that people would climb. And I remember going up. I'd been there maybe a week or two, um, in Hawaii, and going up to this what they call the pink pillbox, and a lot of people go up there, but for some reason this day there were like maybe 3 people, and I was up there basically sitting up. I could climb on the pillbox. It was, if you're athletic, you can do that. So I was just sitting there, literally feeling like on top of the world, um, just bawling my eyes out, bawling my eyes out. I was so alone. Um, I did not know what to do with that. There was nobody I could call and reach out because Hawaii was either 4 or 5 hours behind everybody. There was no one to talk to. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anyone yet. Um, that's when you know God is alive because he's the only person I had to talk to.
Do you feel like it was a blessing to be in a place like Hawaii
Oh
for
my
that
gosh, yeah.
period of time?
Absolutely. I don't think that if I would have stayed here in Oklahoma during that time, I would have been even close to healing. Like, not even close. That was when I lived, um, where my apartment was. My backyard was the beach. My front yard was, this valley, and I lived on the west side of the island, so I had the good fortune to see the sunset unobstructed every day. What that said to me and what that kind of symbolized was the renewal of every day. Like, you may be over here in this cloud of darkness, the sun's setting, it's going to rise. Sun is setting, I'm here. God is saying, I'm here. And uh, I can't even describe how wonderful that season of my life was.
It reminds me of the Lord's Prayer where he walks you beside still waters and makes you lie down in green pastures.
Yes.
You were lost in the moment and
Yes.
rebuilding and figuring out who you were aside from everything that had happened to you.
Yes.
And he put you in a beautiful place where you could hear his voice and rebuild and figure out who you are.
Yeah. And especially in a place where people want to go, like, explore with their family or a group of friends or something like that. But this place, this time, such a time as that, completely by myself. I didn't even have my stuff over there yet. This was during the pandemic. So I had just my suitcase in this apartment that I lived in and God. And I just don't have all the words to describe how wonderful that season was. And also the growth that I got in that season, um, was so unmatched. It would not have been the same if I experienced that with someone else. If there was somebody else there to distract me, it wouldn't have worked.
Definitely an example of turning things forward is good.
Absolutely.
So you are very passionate about strength training and fitness and
Oh yeah.
all things being healthy. And I love that about you because you help keep me on track sometimes when I want to go eat
Yeah.
bad food.
I'm gonna be the person in your ear.
You're a good
always.
influence.
Yes. Thank you.
So, how did building physical strength help you emotionally and mentally?
Oh my goodness. So I loved this question. I had to ponder on, like, my whole entire life. I've always been an athlete. I've been, well, can't say always, that's a definitive. Since fourth grade, I've been an athlete. And I chose to be on teams more than like single sports. So tennis, things like that where you had to do it by yourself. I chose to be on teams because I just loved people. I wanted to be around people. I loved the companionship, the camaraderie, all of that. But what I did not love was going to the gym when I was growing up. I did not want muscles. I did not want to look like my oldest brother. I hated every second of it.
Surprising.
Yeah, very surprising, but very true. So when I found my identity in it was literally during that time when I separated from my ex-husband, on the road to divorce. I found a CrossFit gym and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. Just the transformation. I was at my heaviest during the divorce period. I weighed 197 pounds. Didn't recognize myself. There was things in the mirror I didn't like, and I had to make a choice. It was either continue that way or do something about it to where I felt good about me again, to where I felt alive again. Strength training is the ultimate feel good drug. It's a drug. That's it.
It is. It definitely helps you feel better.
I have never been the cardio kind of type of girl, like, oh, let me go do Pilates. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not me. I feel like having muscles, having strength will get you through anything. That's the one thing outside of, your health, that is your wealth. I am so passionate about it. I want women to feel the strongest that they've ever been later in life. That's my goal.
There's something to be said about being able to do things under your own strength without having to
Yes.
call someone in, or go find a male neighbor that might be stronger than you or anything like that. Like you can do it yourself, and that's empowering in and of itself.
Yeah, just think about it. Just being able to move a couch by yourself, like,
And not get hurt.
and not get hurt, right? Or even more rudimentary, bending down and touching your toes or tying your shoe. Like,
Maintaining flexibility
absolutely.
and mobility.
I do not want any woman that I come in contact with not being able to do that. I just strength is where it's at.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So, what did starting over actually look like for you aside from Hawaii?
Hmm.
Not just on paper, but in your heart and in your day to day life.
So starting over. So first, after my divorce was finalized, we lived in suburbia. And I physically moved out of that type of environment to downtown because that's what my dream was. So that was my first move. Um, I started making decisions that actually were just for me, which was completely different mindset. I still struggle with that right now, and I'm single. So, um, my mindset was just get out of this hole at that time. Get out of this hole, find yourself again, find God again. I actually started going back to church consistently. I we have a local church here called Life Church, and I got onto their worship team. And I mean, I didn't look back. I reconnected with who I was, who I decided to be when I was 16 years old. That's who I was in search of again. And I I cannot take credit for any of the healing that I've experienced. It's all been God. It has all been God. Um, my mindset, of course, is different then to now. I've got a few more years on me. But through it all, it's always just been God.
Yes.
Oh,
You've taken bold steps as a business owner.
I have tried, yeah.
Can you tell us about a time you failed forward and what you've learned from it?
Okay, yes. So I have a notary business. I have a personal training business. Genetics part within that personal training business. I am starting a new health and wellness business. All of these things, I am now a pseudo serial entrepreneur. Did not think I was ever going to be that because I was a government worker. Government is stable. You got your 401k 9 to 5, gonna work you until you die kind of mindset.
Right. And as a business
And
owner, you need to be a bit of a Swiss Army knife because you wear
yes,
17 hats throughout the day.
yes, absolutely. The most humbling experience of my life, becoming a business owner. Um, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. Not even half the time, most of the time.
Most of us don't.
Yeah. And it excites me every day knowing that I'm not alone in that. Um, my fail forward point was the investment that I made in my education perhaps wasn't what it should have been for the amount of money that I invested in. They were stuck in the years. So in personal training world, you kind of have to keep up with what's going on. Like, what are people gravitating towards?
Mhm.
And this particular company that I chose is stuck in 2021, stuck doing things. And for some reason I thought, oh, well, they're online based mentorship program and they know what they're talking about. It just didn't resonate with me. Um, it did take me a couple of days because I didn't get out of it what I thought and was promised after spending so much money. Um, I did not feel as defeated because I know I was just going to push forward anyway. I failed forward, meaning I took this as instead of a failure, this is a fail her. Get over this. You got some out of it. You got some education, some knowledge, some business savvy out of it. You got friends out of it. What was positive that you got out of it? And what can you use now? And now I have a foundation. Through it all, through the amount of investment that I spent, I still now have a foundation that I can carry on all of the businesses that I have.
It's a costly lesson,
It
but I mean,
is.
the way I look at it, because I've been a business owner myself for over 20 years, is failure is only failure when you give up or you fail to learn from it.
Right.
And so if you learn from it and you move forward, then you didn't fail.
Right. I look back at my life and it just feels so natural to fail forward. for me. Like, I didn't stop. I could have any thousand times of those, I could have just stayed stuck. I could have been a victim of anything, and that would have just, I'm a failure to somebody. But no, like, there is something more out there
I've,
for me.
I've always said that my secret to success is that I'm just too stubborn to quit.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes, I love that. I think I'm just as stubborn.
There you go. I think that's why we get along really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome? And how do you silence that inner critic?
Gosh. Daily.
Mhm.
Daily. So in my field, anybody could choose any kind of personal trainer. Um, you feel like because they're not choosing you, that you are not um fit enough. And in your head, you're like, what look at what my whole body of work is. Look at my whole, business card. And then you have to remember people are choosing who they know, like, and trust. For me in this business, well, I guess with online, social media plays a huge, huge part in getting the traffic that you want to your business, the marketing aspect, all of that. I don't like social media. So it has been a struggle for me to navigate that imposter syndrome, because I'm like, on one hand, I already don't feel adequate to be teaching people, even though I have the certifications, all that. Like, who's going to listen to me? I'm just out here doing it. Let me just show you, kind of thing, face to face. Or, um, I haven't made a gajillion dollars like all these people are saying in 5 days. That the amount of mind warp that happens, it just kind of generates imposters. For me, I just sometimes don't feel like I'm worthy of success, so I don't push myself as much as I should.
I understand that one.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, like, the imposter syndrome, it's a scary thing because you can really go down rabbit holes with that, and you can really start talking so bad about yourself to yourself, and still be smiling walking around.
Mhm.
And so imposter syndrome, yeah, I have I've definitely struggled with it.
It's one of the devil's favorite tools, and he uses it on me regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as business owners, we're especially susceptible to it because, I mean, you're only, you're really only going to be successful as long as you're moving forward. And
Yeah.
imposter syndrome is a really good tool to keep you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get stuck in one place for too long, like you said, with that place you took the classes from,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people jump off the boat. They
Yeah.
lose interest. You have
Yeah.
to keep moving forward. You have
Right.
to keep progressing and evolving. And the Lord calls us to move forward. He
Right.
doesn't call us to stay where we're at.
Right.
So you got to remember, keep moving, and one step in front of the other, even when you can't see the whole staircase.
Exactly. Amen. Amen. So, like, I just, I have to mention this about imposter syndrome. When I think about, like, who I am and whose I am, I'm a daughter of a king. And I feel like, even in general, as Christian women, we don't take that into account in our daily lives. Like, if we step back, there's no reason to have imposter syndrome at all.
Easily do
At
that.
all. Like, where's your crown? Like, we are daughters of king, meaning we are princesses, you know? So the imposter syndrome, uh, little sprinkle that Satan likes to put in my mind daily, I just stop it. I capture that thought, I make it obedient to Christ, and I move on.
Nice. All right. So, what role did community or lack of it play in your healing and growth journey?
I have a very small community, and back then it was even smaller. Um, I have decided that people who need to know things about me have to have discernment themselves. Um, a lot of things outside of this podcast, a lot of people don't know. So I feel like that was God trying to help protect my story and protect my healing. The women that I have in my life are prayer partners. The community, I thought I had a bunch of friends that were gonna, be behind me. And when they found out that I was going through domestic violence with my ex-husband, but figured out that they thought the world of him. So they just couldn't believe it. Some thought I was making it up because how I operated, right? I was happy go lucky all the time to them. Yeah, so the lack thereof and the ability to have certain friends that were my community both helped me. One empowered me, the other encouraged me. Um, I don't look at I have always lived my life where I don't have regrets, because they're all just moments I failed forward. They are all just moments where I got to step up or step out of the way. And I just wholeheartedly believe that God has always been there. Like that is the only reason I'm sitting here today.
So do you feel like your community is key to your healing?
Yes. That and now that I have more godly friends in my life, it is a necessity as especially as a businesswoman. As a businesswoman, you could literally say yes to everybody, not knowing that, they have your best intentions at heart or not, but you see the mighty dollar, you see what they can do for you and help, and they say they can do this and that, but are you absolutely aligned with them? You never know. So the people that you pray with, the people that are in your community, they are your blind spots. They are the people that, yeah, take a step back and think about that one. Those kind of decision makers, that's your community. That's who you should always have around you, even if it's not about business.
So, how did your faith carry you through the hardest seasons?
Man, faith, I, if you do not have faith, if you don't have faith in God, I don't know how you live. I, I, I gave my life to Christ at Falls Creek. It's a church camp at 16 years old. Didn't really fully understand what that meant. Um, as a 41-year-old woman, I completely understand what it means now. I'm not perfect, but I am nothing. I am nothing without God. I'm nothing without him. The things right now, currently, I'm going through a transition in life, and finances are tight. And before, I used to really, really, really stress about it. I don't, because I know God is my Jehovah Jireh. I know that He is my provider of everything in my life. So I just don't worry about things like that anymore. This business, all of these business ventures that I'm creating, those are all so all health and wellness. Kind of, I'm trying to build an empire, gracefully fit. But all of these ideas and all of these confirmations are coming from God. And if I didn't have the faith in my God, none of this would happen. These ideas would not happen because I'm not creating them. I would still be doing my government work. I would still be going to a 9 to 5 somewhere, settling for what society says I should be doing, stuck on this wheel. Yeah, if you don't have faith, you don't have anything.
Wow. Well said. How has your definition of success changed through all of this?
Oh my gosh. I used to think success was what everybody thinks success should look like. Because of how I grew up, where um you see all your friends get to go on these extravagant vacations and all of that. You see your friends get cars and you want cars and nice things when you're going shopping at the mall, all these stupid things. Then you get older and you realize, you know, some people do actually like that, but they only do it once a year and the facade is they're like majorly in debt,
Yeah,
like
they become a slave to the things that they
yeah.
worshipped.
I have never really been interested in like things. My heart goes to people and I just want to serve people. So my success then looked like, oh, I want to go on 50,000 trips a year, don't want to work, don't want to do anything. I want a sugar daddy, all of this stuff. I mean, let's be
Wildly
real.
different.
Wildly different. Now I'm just like, I want to get an as a business owner, I want all my businesses to generate enough income to where I can live off of a little and give all the rest of it away. Like that is my ultimate goal. I've always that's all I think about is like how much of this can I give away? How much of this can I give away? I got to get there first.
That's the dream, being
Yeah,
able to
that is
have enough to be able to give stuff away.
yes, that is and I truly feel like that would just give me so much joy. Oh my gosh. So much joy. So much joy. Of course I know I need things. Well, yeah, I need the necessities. I gotta live and eat, but oh my gosh, just being able to give a whole paycheck to somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's the generous love of God that just swells in me. Like,
If a woman is listening right now feeling stuck, scared, or ashamed, what would you want her to hear from you today?
you are seen. I see you. God sees you. The things that you feel are not necessarily the truth. Um, I have been really dark places, mentally and spiritually, to where I did not feel like I had reasons to be here anymore. Going through so much, giving so much of myself to people, I'm not even just talking about my ex husband, but to people and not getting reciprocated, feeling like nobody wants me around and all I want is people around. Um, you are on this earth for one purpose, and that is to bring others to Christ. After that, you are on this earth to thrive. You are not here to please anyone but God. And doing that um, is where you find your purpose just on this side of heaven. If you're supposed to be a mother, do it to the fullest. If you're supposed to be a businesswoman, go figure out what your passion is and duplicate it daily. That is your business. If you're supposed to be in a wonderful marriage with 20 kids, go forth and conquer. But do it with the knowledge that you're here on purpose for a purpose. And that is, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not mistaken. God does not make mistakes.
Well, and if you're here on purpose, you should live on purpose too.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Don't get lost in the weeds.
Right. You cannot do anything on this earth without God. You can't breathe.
Awesome. So, what's next for you in life, business, or in this next chapter?
Oh, abundance. I've already I've already called and opened my heart for the abundance of love, rebuilding that abundance of money so I can give all my money away. Um, I am moving forward because of a failed relationship. Um, and God has already started to provide and show me. I fully surrendered this time. So I'm enjoying this new chapter of my life. And it's completely unknown. completely unknown. I am not feeling terrified like I normally would. I just I'm just thriving in the chaos.
God's got you, girl.
He does. He totally does, and I'm here for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on today. It was a pleasure talking
for
to
having
you and getting to help you share your story for anyone that may need to hear it. Hopefully we'll have you on again in the future
Oh, yes.
with amazing updates.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.